There's another group of questions out there that is looking for atheist responses. It mostly deals with the futility of life, since it is short and finite. The questions were apparently paraphrased from the William Lane Craig book, Reasonable Faith, Chapter 2, The Absurdity of Life Without God. For some reason, there was no way to post answers there, so I'll have to do it here instead. If you are an atheist, a materialist, a pantheist, or a naturalist, try to answer the following 11 questions. As the great sage once said, "We are living in the material world." All we know about is the material. There is no evidence for anything other than physical objects in the universe, so it is a safe bet that the material is all there is. It does not mean that my life is without any meaning, just because there is no ultimate, supernatural, immortal, moral lawgiver. If all of life is meaningless and ultimately absurd, why bother to march straight forward? Why stand in the queue as though life as a whole made sense? Who says that life is meaningless? Just because there is not a voice from on high telling you what meaning you should have, does that follow that our lives have no meaning at all? As I've mentioned before, I give my own life the meaning I choose, and I strive to march forward towards that meaning. If everyone completely passes out of existence when they die, what ultimate meaning has life? Even if a man's life is important because of his influence on others, or by his effect on the course of history, of what ultimate significance is that if there is no immortality and all other lives, events, and even history itself is ultimately meaningless? Again, does there need to be a binary choice? Either an ultimate meaning or significance, or none at all? A personal meaning is enough for me. In billions of years, what I have done may not matter. In 100 years, what I have done may not matter. But what I do right here and right now matters to me, and matters to the people around me that I love, and that is enough. Suppose the universe had never existed. Apart from God, what ultimate difference would that make? I guess if the universe never existed, I would not be here, or would have ever existed either. But the universe does exist. It is here, and so are we, so I will deal with the universe as it is. In a universe without God or immortality, how is mankind ultimately different from a swarm of mosquitoes or a barnyard of pigs? Because human beings have the capacity for rational thought, of seeing the larger picture in the world. We can work out what choices we make and understand the ramifications of those choices. We have a responsibility to ourselves to use that understanding to make choices that we think are for the best. What viable basis exists for justice or law if man is nothing but a sophisticated programmed machine? The whole sophisticated programmed machine line is more for my thoughts on free will, but justice exists for the people who put that justice system in place and maintain it. In a democratic society, people need to work together, with justice and law necessary, to be sure that each person has a chance for safety. Why does research, discovery, diplomacy, art, music, sacrifice, compassion, feelings of love, or affectionate and caring relationships mean anything if it all ultimately comes to naught anyway? Again, just because all of human endeavor may someday end does not mean that we should just give up on enjoying and experiencing our times here as we do have. I know that I am going to die someday, and that does not mean that I will not or should not choose not to feel the love I have for my wife and children, the enjoyment I have with my friends, or a chance of understanding better the world we live in. Without absolute morals, what ultimate difference is there between Saddam Hussein and Billy Graham? Without absolute morals, we have subjective morals, and morality is simply choosing the actions that do the least harm to others. Saddam Hussein ordered countless atrocities to his subjects, while Billy Graham had the unmitigated gall to go around trying to minister to people. I don't believe what Graham said, but he was in no way comparable to the harm caused by Hussein committing genocides, plural, on his people. If there is no immorality, why shouldn't all things be permitted? First off, there is immorality. Like I said, there is subjective morality, choosing actions that do the least harm to others. Shooting someone for no reason would be immoral. Shooting someone who is about to attack a full school would not be immoral. Things that harm others that do not have any balancing action are immoral and should not be permitted. If morality is only a relative social contract, on what basis could or should anyone ever move to interfere with cultures that practice apartheid, female circumcision, cannibalism, or ethnic cleansing? This is the same as the above answer. All the things listed here harm others and do nothing good in return. That is why these listed are seen as immoral. The fact that our lives are finite means they are more precious than if they were infinite, and that death was nothing more than an inconvenience before the next step. If there is no God, on what basis is there any meaning or hope for fairness, comfort, or better times? Gandhi said, "Be the change you want to see in the world." I know that I can be fair and comfort others. Since I know I can do that, I know others can as well, and that gives me hope that they will do so as well. Without a personal creator God, how are you anything other than the coincidental, purposeless miscarriage of nature, spinning round and round on a lonely planet in the blackness of space for just a little while, before you and all memory of your futile, pointless, meaningless life finally blinks out forever and in the endless darkness? Whoa, man. Dark. I should just dye my hair black and go all emo right now. Oh, right. We may all be a coincidental, purposeless miscarriage of nature, spinning round and round on a lonely planet in the blackness of space. But we are our own coincidental, purposeless miscarriage of nature, spinning round and round on our own lonely planet in the blackness of space. Sure, in time the world will end, and our actions will not amount for anything. But with our tiny lives, we can make the short time we have bearable and enjoyable. Or, as another man once said,
if there's no great glorious end to all this, if nothing we do matters, then all that matters is what we do. Because that's all there is. What we do, now, today. Because if there's no bigger meaning than the smallest act of kindness, it's the greatest thing in the world.
okay, I hope that answers all your questions. Play us out of here.
'Cause we are living in a